Welcome back. Today, we're actually going to talk about everything. We're going to wrap up our entire experiment and talk about what we felt about each stage. So if you're only watching one video in this entire series, this is the one to do it. Trudy, first, what were your thoughts on the sign-up process?
I think the sign-up process itself was actually not too bad because when we say sign-up process, we're talking about getting in there, getting an account set up,
Yeah.
getting the ads set up, getting the ads paid for, and ready to go. That was really easy. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how easy it was.
Now, it wasn't as easy for me because I kept getting some sort of weird hang up where it wouldn't go past choosing what kind of ad I wanted. And that went on for 3 days. Or it would let me choose the ad, and then when I hit next, it would just spin, kind of like a computer spinning beach ball of death, except the page would just spin and it would never go anywhere. Once I got past that, which happened about the 3rd day, then I thought that the rest of the process was nice. I loved the UX of it. The user experience was nice. It was clean. It walked you through the process really smoothly. And that was all wonderful all the way up, even through payment. Although I wasn't a fan of the fact that you had to preload your money. There was no option to put a credit card on file or anything like that. You had to preload what you wanted to spend, which is nice if you don't want to spend more than that, because obviously they won't spend more than they have. But once we were both approved and had paid money, that's when things went sideways.
Yes, in a big way.
So Trudy, actually, we both had a bit of a roadblock, but Trudy pointed out first because Trudy was a day or two ahead of me at this point. And Trudy, what happened?
So when I tried to actually connect up my account to become a business account, to get it to be approved as a business account so that I could actually run the ads, I had all kinds of roadblocks. I just kept getting denied, denied, denied. And every time that I would try, I would say, well, what did I do wrong? I'd try to figure it out. I'd try it and they just wouldn't approve it. And it just went on and on and on as a problem. I did eventually end up reaching out to the help desk, and they were really good. Help desk did their absolute best to help me, but it didn't matter what they told me to do. Everything I tried still didn't work, which made me assume that maybe it was some sort of AI bot in the back end that was causing the problem or something, but I just didn't get approved. And I kid you not, over a period of several weeks,
Yeah.
going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And I finally reached out to a friend who knows a lot about TikTok. And I said, help. And they tried to walk me through the process and it didn't work. It didn't work. What they tried didn't work at all. And it was just very, very strange because all of a sudden, without warning, it was suddenly just approved. The day before, it had been denied. And the
Yeah.
next day, it was approved, and I hadn't done anything different. So I was so confused, and it was really frustrating. I nearly threw in the towel.
And, I had that hard time getting started up front, which was problematic. And then the rest of the sign up process was really easy. And I pushed the button and thought I was approved. And I go in the next day, all excited to see how my ads are performing. And they weren't. Same problem as you. It had said that my account wasn't approved. I didn't even know I was setting up an extra account. So where you actually saw 2 specific setup processes for each type of account, the ads and the business, all I ever saw was the ads account. I never saw anything about business stuff. So it told me where to go to set that up, and I did, and I submitted the required paperwork, which I thought was interesting because I've done a lot of ads work on different platforms. I've never had to submit business paperwork. And I see a lot of ads on TikTok that I seriously doubt they had to set up business paperwork because I seriously doubt many of them are legitimate businesses. So to me, I didn't really like that, like at all. But unlike you, it only took another like 48 hours for my account to be approved. So I was approved and my ads are finally running the day before the event that I wanted to use them to promote. So at least I got some results from it where Trudy didn't. Now, the results, I wasn't really thrilled with them. I honestly think I could have done better with organic videos, especially if I had been diligently working to build up my audience. We know something now. We know something now that we didn't know then, and Trudy's going to talk about that in a few minutes. But before we get there, Trudy, what was your overall impression of the process that never happened for you?
Well, it was a deal breaker basically because it meant that I could never actually run the experiment the way you were able to. Although I have to say I was really surprised because I had already, I put the ads up because they let me
Yeah.
go through that process, put up your ads, pay for your ads and everything. And even though they didn't run the ads, the fact that I'd put them up there and it wasn't approved as a business account meant that it was a personal account still. People actually saw those ads. They were meant to be ads, but they were actually posts. People actually watched the videos, and I had some people come to my website as a result of those TikTok videos, which I thought was actually a really good sign. It was one of the few things that made me go, maybe I'll just keep on trying with this, because actually I wasn't even expecting any traffic and I got some traffic, and that was a real surprise. So that was a really valuable, I think, turning point when I went, I'm going to hang in here.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting that you had the visitors because I didn't. And I specifically set mine up to drive visitors to my site and the ads ran. So that was my first inkling that organic might actually be a little bit more of a superpower than ads. Now, I think both of us have said at some point in previous videos this was obviously a very finite experiment. We had the $100 budget. We were
Yeah.
only going to run them for a week. It was the first time for either of us. Neither of us had a super active TikTok account. So we knew that our results were automatically going to be limited unless some algorithm fairy smacked its wand on our head and said, "You get all the views." We didn't get all of the views, neither one of us. Trudy at least got some traffic from her non ads, but your money.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the other thing. The second thing that made me go, okay, maybe I could cope with this a little bit if I just try some more, because I got so cross. I got so cross about the whole fact that they wouldn't approve my business account for no legitimate reason at all. Because I gave them proof after proof after proof that I had a legit business. But so I finally said to them, look, I had to pay this money for these ads. I haven't been able to run the ads. Please give me my money back. And I was expecting to wait 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, maybe never. And I had it back. The money was sitting back in my account within 2 days. And so I was so impressed about that. And I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's do a little bit of a 1 to 5 ranking on several different parts of the process. So the initial setup process, 1 to 5, what would you rank it?
It was probably a 4.5 to 5. It was actually pretty easy for me.
Yeah, and I would put it at a solid 3. Once I got past whatever that weird glitch was at the beginning, the rest of it was easy. Getting your ads running.
Absolute zero.
And I would put it probably 2.5 to 3. Customer service, 1 to 5.
5. They tried their absolute best. They weren't able to solve the problem, but it was really responsive.
Yeah, and I did not have any actual contact with customer service, but I'm going to give them a 5 just based on Trudy's experience and the fact that she got her money back when she asked for it. So overall impression, 1 to 5.
It has to have been about a 2.5 to a 3, because it was beyond frustrating not being, and the amount of time that I wasted trying to get my business account approved. And so it basically ruined the experiment for me because I couldn't actually run the ads. So that's a future discussion point as we talk about what we're going to do next.
Yeah, and I would probably rate it as a 3 as well, which leads right into the next question. Would you do it again?
Well, knowing what I know now, and knowing that some people have problems getting the account set up, but some people don't, I probably would try it again, because I learned a lot about getting it set up when I did set it up, even though it was frustrating. But I'd want some assurances that I wasn't going to have as many problems as I did the first time.
Yeah, I would too. Now, would I try it again? Yes, but with a caveat that yes, I would approach it differently. And I would approach it differently because thanks to Trudy, we learned a lot of stuff after we started this process because she couldn't do anything else. So she reached out to an expert, and that expert shared some knowledge that I think is something that we all should know and think about. And it presents a process for running ads that actually leads to a higher success rate. And I think that that's really important. So we just went in and did this thing blindfolded. Would I do it that way again? Never. Would I do it the way Trudy's expert said? Yes. So Trudy, can you share that process with us?
Yeah, sure. So I ended up reaching out to somebody who knew somebody who was an expert. And this person has had huge experience in the US working with a massive, massive brand, helping the people who do like, I wouldn't call it sponsorship, but they do work for the brand and helping them set up successful TikTok accounts to help them become influencers for that particular brand and massively successful. And so I was really fortunate because I was able to sit down with this person for 2 hours and we sat down and we mapped out an entire strategy for how we should run this particular type of campaign. And I learned a ton about the strategy side of it, which was really, really beneficial. But one of the most important things that this person shared was that there's a strategy that she uses. And the strategy is basically this in a nutshell. You go ahead and you create 3 videos on a particular topic, and you can release them all at once, or you can release them during the same week, close to each other.
Yeah.
And they're slightly different takes on the same topic. You release those 3 videos and then you watch the data, you watch the stats. You identify the one that's the most high performing video, and then that's the video that you put up as your ad.
Yeah.
And
And you do that through boosting, right?
yeah, so basically, that's what she called it. She called it boosting. You boost it, uh, and you basically take that ad and promote it using your ad money, and that makes so much sense to me. And the other thing that I learned just relatively recently is that it works a lot better if you don't just guess at what the topics and themes should be. I mean, this seems like rather obvious at the moment, but when we were first starting this, it wasn't quite so obvious. A lot of people get started going, hey, I just want to talk about what I want to talk about, which is fine because people talk about their area of expertise. But this was a guy who was talking on social media marketing podcast, basically, and his name's Mike Yanda. He's basically saying, look, go and look at the search terms that are trending and that people are looking for in your area of expertise. Go and look at what's being talked about.
Sorry, cat eating microphone. Okay, we're back. It's never a dull moment. So
So
Mike Yanda.
yeah, so you basically go in and find the search terms for that area of expertise that people are searching on, and then you make your videos about those. And and those 2 strategies combined are what I'm going to use when I do actually do the next chunk of this experiment, which I will do, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But I'm going to now I've already started. I've already set up I finally was able to get the account approved, and I've been posting organic videos to this channel, and it is starting to take off a little bit, which I've been quite pleasantly surprised about. And so my experiment now is to basically see how quickly I can actually get that channel up to 1,000 followers, subscribers, and see whether or not it drives people back to my website and sign up to my email list, which is my whole goal for this experiment, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
And Trudy, like she said, she's already starting to see results from this new system she's trying. And I'll just say straight up, she's doing everything organically and she's getting 3 times the views I got on my ads. So that does directly reflect on this experiment. But like she alluded to, we're also going to be doing a new experiment. So now we're older and we're wiser. We've been through this process. Trudy pulled out all of her hair and it's growing back in. This has been a process. And, we would both probably do it again, but we're not going to do it again the same way. We're going to actually bring strategy and marketing tactics into the process. So we're moving the experiment from we are people who have no experience with this. So we're going to set this up with no outside knowledge. Now we're moving to we have sought out expert advice. We're bringing my marketing experience and Trudy's business experience to the table, and we're going to do this again. And we're going to do it with this new process where we run a series of organic posts, we see which performs the best, and then we make that into our ad. We're going to be very strategic about what types of posts we run during this next experiment. We're going to very closely track the metrics because the metrics that they give you on how your videos are performing are pretty wonderful. And we didn't take that into account as much in this first trial. It'll be, I think, a big part of our next trial, because the next experiment, we're looking for specific results. We're not just seeing what the process is like. So I'm really excited about that. Trudy, I think you are too. Trudy is, because she's jumped the gun and she's already doing it. But we're going to do another experiment. We're going to go into this a little bit more in depth. We're also going to do a video, as promised in video 1, where we talk about our experience recording these videos in Riverside. Positive, by the way, very positive. So we'll share what that experience looks like. We'll walk you through Riverside, show you what it's like. And now, in case you haven't noticed, Trudy has a bit of an accent. Maybe I'm the one with the accent. I don't know where you are in the world watching this. Trudy is in Australia, and I'm smack dab in the middle of the United States. And Riverside has been able to bring us together with very little lag, which is not something we can say from Zoom, much higher video quality, and a whole host of other things. I think Trudy actually may be sold on Riverside now, which I know she wasn't as gung-ho about it as I was at the beginning. So we'll see where that goes. Peanut, by the way, has grown up quite a bit since video 1. He was teeny, teeny, tiny then. And now he's this giant cat who likes to eat me for fun. But that has been our process. I hope you've enjoyed walking through it with us. Trudy, I hope you at least got some enjoyment out of it.
I learned a lot. The frustration factor was quite high, but I did learn a lot, and the frustration forced me to go out and find other alternatives, it's never a bad thing. It's always a good thing to learn new things.
Yeah. And it gave us, I believe, this is the best part of this whole frustrating first experiment. It gave us the foundation we need to do the next experiment, and we don't have to go through this setup process ever again.
Thank goodness.
So there are silver linings to our TikTok cloud, but there is a lot of potential with TikTok videos, with reaching your specific audience, and with driving growth for your business. So I fully believe that. Trudy does as well. We'll probably go on in the future to do other experiments as well with YouTube and other channels, see how they work. I know that I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and Trudy is as well. So maybe we'll do a video experiment with LinkedIn as well, since video is actually growing on that platform. We have lots of things to do in the future. We're going to do them one at a time, because otherwise we'll go crazy. But thank you. Thank you for being here with us for this experiment. Please join us for the next one, and watch for that Riverside video. It's worth watching, I think.